So how do we go from this freelancer to offer mode? Well, the first thing that I tell everybody is we need to review the data, okay? And when I say review the data, I mean both qualitative data and quantitative data. I'll just put quant. So qualitative and quantitative data means qualitative data is stuff like almost like you're feeling, like client feedback. Who do you enjoy working with? Who, whenever you see they come on a booked call, you know that you're going to close the deal. Who is it whenever you enroll them as a client, you know you're going to deliver them results. That's kind of qualitative data. Quantitative data is going to be the actual hard number. So how many bookings are you getting from this specific offer? Or how many bookings are you getting from this specific avatar? What percentage of clients are seeing a return on investment, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a combination of both these two things for all the work that you've done previously. Now, it's critical that you're doing this after you've already been a freelancer for a little bit, because if you haven't been a freelancer, then you don't have this data. You're like my buddy who is trying to make the assumption of this is who I need to go after without any idea of where he's going to fall, right? Because the truth is that I'll give you an example, my own personal experience. When I first started my advertising agency, I fell in that same category I'm talking about with my friend, where I bought a coaching program and they said, go after medical spas, go after medical spas. So I was going after these medical spas, and for 9 months, I made less than $3,000 in total sales. And it wasn't until I was literally about to give up that I just told my mom that I had an advertising agency, because I didn't want to tell anybody beforehand, because I just wanted to show up in a Ferrari at my local bar. That was actually what my thought process was like. I finally told my mom, look, I'm literally about to give this up, but if you know anybody that needs ads. The next day, I was meeting with a close friend of hers who was a real estate agent in my hometown. She signed that day for $3,000 a month. That was more than I had made in the previous 9 months combined, right? And so then that real estate agent led to another real estate agent, led to another real estate agent, led to another real estate. And next thing you know, I've literally served hundreds of real estate agents, and I have a real estate advertising agency. It wasn't because I was passionate about it. It wasn't because I dreamed about it. It wasn't because this coaching program told me to do it. It was literally just because it was the first person that I signed that then introduced me to somebody else, right? So if I had been too constrict and say, oh, sorry, I don't work with real estate agents, I only work with medical spas, which LOL, I've literally not worked with anybody. So how could you even say that in the first place? Then I never would have probably gotten to where I am today, right? Or it would have been taking me much longer. So that's why we do that freelancer stage. Then we look back and say, okay, at that point, let's say for me, when I was doing $10,000 a month, I was still working with like essential oil, multi-level marketing people. I was working with chiropractors. I was working with gyms and like fitness studios. I was obviously working with real estate agents, and I had one medical spa client at that time. So I had this like hodgepodge of different clients. On top of that, I was also doing hodgepodge of different services. For some people, I was optimizing for a website. For other people, I was creating content. Oh, I was also doing I was also helping e-commerce. My cousin had a jewelry store I was doing e-commerce work for. So I was also helping e-commerce. I was also doing running Facebook ads. I was also creating sales funnels. I was writing email sequences. So I'm doing 100 different things. And so what I started doing was I started analyzing who I like to work with, who was I getting results for, et cetera, et cetera. And I started to see a trend, which was that the real estate agents were the ones that they had a really high ticket price, meaning if I could help them sell a home in my local area, they could be making tens of thousands of dollars. And also they were used to spending money on acquiring leads. They were already paying Zillow and all these other people. So it was kind of easy for them to say, hey, take this budget that you're already spending on Zillow and put it here where you have more exclusive leads. I'll call the leads for you and set them on your calendar, et cetera, et cetera. So I started looking at the data of who I liked working with and who we were getting results for. And I started realizing, okay, this is actually real estate agents is the best bet forward that I should do. And the main thing I want you to do when you're reviewing your data here is don't sell yourself short, okay? Meaning that it's the same advice I actually give my clients whenever we're looking to hire an employee. They're like, man, I really want this dream employee and I want them to have previous business experience and I want all these things, but they're just never going to want to work for my company. So I'll just settle for this employee over here. Don't sell yourself short, right? Until you've done 50 interviews with these employees, what happens most of the time is they do 3 interviews. They say, oh, this perfect employee is not out there. Let me just hire one of these 3 people, when really they're just being lazy, right? And so don't sell yourself short, meaning if you know that you really love working with this client, then don't sell yourself short. Say, I only work with these clients. And not only just this client, but in every single market, right? There's like this funnel where the bottom 97% are garbage. They're barely scraping by. They're not making any money. And there's this top 3% here that's making some serious serious dough. And that's exactly what I was going after, because I could have gone after all the real estate agents. I think the number is like 85% of real estate agents make less than 40 grand a year. So I couldn't charge those people $2,500 a month for a 3-month contract. There's no way they could afford it, right? These were all the rent a real estate agent that just show up whenever they need to. What I wanted was the real professionals. I wanted the creme de la creme. I wanted the real estate agents that were taking this as a serious profession and were selling multi-million-dollar homes. So I decided I wasn't going to sell myself short. So instead of selling $500 a month or $1,000 a month for these small little higher volume people down here, I said, no. Let me put myself as a high tiered, high package, ultra luxury advertising agency only for that top 3%, which, by the way, literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of real estate agents fall in that category.
If you want my help installing any of these systems in your business done for you, be sure to book a call with my team down